All right now, and let's go across to another important story that's coming in as the world watches the US presidential elections. And as final day of voting is underway, we have been telling you, but few will be watching as eagerly as countries in West Asia, a region that has been grappling with war, uncertainty and civilian displacement for over a year now. Who will be a better president for the crisis in the region? That's the question on everyone's minds. All right, we'll try to answer that question for you. Our correspondent Anas Malik is joining us on this broadcast live from Beirut. Anas, how is West Asia looking at elections in the United States?
Well, there's a lot of skepticism here because we've been here in Lebanon since the past 2 days. We were out in Saida today, we were out in Shrouf, we were out in Beirut, in Dahye. And people that we've been speaking to, they have a lot of mixed emotions, not the positive of it. There's only one highlight. Remember, there are 37 towns of Lebanon that have been wiped out, 40,000 houses that have been wiped out as well since last month. So people have a lot of mixed emotions and they don't really see a huge difference between the two candidates running for the White House. Now, but there's something that there's a silver lining and they look forward to something. That is the resumption of ceasefire dialogue or talks for a ceasefire. The Lebanese Speaker of the Parliament has said that these talks have been at a standstill because of the US elections, and he hopes that as and when the elections are done and over with, there can be a resumption in that. So that is the only silver lining. But ordinarily, if I talk to you, the ordinary Lebanese, they don't think much about the two candidates, because remember, while both candidates have been saying and talking much about a ceasefire in Lebanon, at the same time, both former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have been reiterating their support for Israel's right to defend itself.
Right.
The reason there's a lot of skepticism and around the two candidates, but primarily the people hope and they believe that after the US elections getting done and over with, there can be a resumption in the ceasefire dialogue. That is number one. And number two, after that, there is also hopes that the US, whosoever gets back into the White House, can pressurize US's closest ally, that is Israel, into stopping its unilateral aggression onto Lebanon. Ananya?
Right. Anas, taking your point a little forward, as you correctly mentioned, Israel is in the middle of the crisis in West Asia. Interestingly, I was speaking to Daniel Rubinstein from Tel Aviv. He's the spokesperson of the Israeli Citizen Group and very vocal in his defense for the IDF and what Israel's operations are across West Asia. And he seemed extremely optimistic about whoever comes to the White House. He said Israel will closely work with that candidate. What does that say about the bipartisan foreign policy of the United States?
Well, as I said, the Middle East policy for both of the candidates have more or less remained the same. And Israel continues to be the closest ally of United States, irrespective of whosoever is in power. So ordinarily, for the ordinary people, for the common man, their agenda is something that is to achieve a ceasefire. That is a hope that the US, whosoever gets into White House, would keep in mind that big Arab American vote bank. They would have a pushback that they would be forcing Israel to end the unilateral aggression. But at the same time, they're also hoping that with the US elections getting done and over with, there can be hopes for a ceasefire getting back, because the talks that are currently at a standstill, they will be resumed. But as I said, there's a lot of skepticism around because both of the candidates, their foreign policy on Middle East haven't really differed to what it has been in the past.
Right.
And that is the reason while there is some hope, but at the same time there is not much of a difference that the US election, at least for now, makes on ordinary Lebanese lives. Ananya?
All right, thank you so much for all that. Anas Malik joining us on this broadcast live from Beirut. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.